Let's get to the Kavanaugh thing, by the way, because this is important. So, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, falsely accused of gang rape. That's important, by the way.
Yeah.
Falsely.
That
publicly.
Guy.
Falsely. Knowingly.
Completely false. Verifiably false.
Yeah.
Anyone who thinks there's any validity to what Christine Blasey for, it has been proven false.
Yep.
Just so you know. That's one of those things where you don't need to. I know we all the references at loudwithcrowder.com. Okay, provide them for every single show. If someone you're talking with in your life says, well, "What about Brett Kavanaugh?" and before they can finish the word rape, just slap them and tell them none of that shit, and move on.
Indelible in the hippocampus.
Something, yeah. I'm a doctor.
I mean, I made it up in the hippocampus.
No, I understand. I appreciate you understand what was the address?
Well,
that was not.
Well, you're not a doctor.
It was a long time ago.
I understand. I understand it was a long time ago. Can you tell me like the rough neighborhood?
You're a prig.
How about the house color?
Are you a sexist?
I think he's a sexist.
How about anybody that you told that will now say that you're telling the truth?
Well, there's Becky.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to prescribe myself.
I don't have her number anymore though, so.
Some Xanax, some Klonopin.
We should totally put you in front of Congress. We'll do this tomorrow.
Yay!
Can't wait.
Yay! Pottery barn, here I come. I'm a doctor.
I'm a big diamond. I'm gonna get a big diamond.
Oh my God! I don't have any more popsicle sticks to put in the mouth, and this day's the worst. You shouldn't be a doctor of anything.
Hard.
You shouldn't. You should be in a straitjacket. All right. So. Kavanaugh, by the way, still not encouraging the kind of violent attacks against Christine Blasey Ford that they've encouraged against sitting Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. So it was Wednesday, yesterday. That was June 8th for people who are listening on audio, just because sometimes people listen to this later on. So 26-year-old, the guy was, is it Nicholas Rosk?
Roski.
Rusky.
I want to make sure. This is something I've only read because I try and avoid watching other people's commentary.
Is it Rosk?
This person was arrested, attempted murder, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. In case you don't already know this, I'll just give you a quick recap. And this is also is this the statement from the White House right here?
This is the criminal complaint.
Criminal complaint against him.
Oh, that's a criminal complaint.
Yeah, White House.
That's a way to
white.
Okay,
Yeah.
just for people watching, I have a small monitor, so sometimes I can't see what's up there when it's a lot.
No,
of
it's not the
information.
size of the monitor that matters.
The point is, he
That's
did
how
it.
you use it.
All right, he did it. Guilty. Why? Because you caught him doing it.
He was kind of an act.
you know.
I don't know. We could fudge it.
Yeah.
So
Maybe he
yesterday,
didn't do it. Who knows?
Just so everybody understands, yesterday they're like, let's just be clear, he wasn't arrested at Judge Kavanaugh's house. They were trying to like downplay this. I know we'll get into this in a little bit, but this specific point, he got out of a cab in front of Kavanaugh's house, saw two U.S. Marshals, and decided to walk down the street at 1-something in the morning.
Yeah.
The only reason that he didn't go to the front door and break in was there were two U.S. Marshals in the driveway.
It's like, oh, dang, I didn't know they worked this late.
No, they caught him way on the other side. He wasn't even close to in harm.
I'm kind of surprised. Why didn't the marshals just kick the shit out of him right there? Like, didn't you suspect it when he walked out, saw you, and started whistling hi-ho and running away? Like,
Looking the other way.
I was just looking for a house for sale in this neighborhood. You know we're going to beat the shit out of you, right, sir?
Yeah, Judge Kavanaugh's house. That's not where I
What?
went.
This isn't where I
Justice
parked my
Kavanaugh.
car.
Boy,
cow.
wow.
Who
Shucks.
knew? U.S. Marshals love the movie. You
The
guys
cab
are great.
driver's just like,
Yeah,
yes,
man.
that's
Tommy
right
Lee
there
Jones.
is Justice Kavanaugh's house, the one you said you wanted to shoot.
No,
Shut
no.
up!
No,
This
that's not
cab
what I
driver,
said.
no,
Yeah.
he's drunk.
This
Give
guy.
him tips like, shut up.
It's just the air fresheners have gone to his head, and they don't work.
Last time I used Uber.
What, did you bathe in a vat of gin this morning? So, here's what the Democrats had to say on this situation. Someone trying to assassinate a sitting Supreme Court justice. From the whitehouse.gov. The president condemns the actions of this individual in the strongest terms and is grateful to law enforcement for quickly taking them into custody. Any violent threats of violence... What? Any violent threats of violence...
Wait, what?
This is Joe Biden speaking.
This is as redundant as you can possibly imagine.
Any violence, threats,
Or threats
of violence,
Or attempts... I forgot about that. I read it early this morning. I was going, what an idiot.
Or attempts to violently threat.
Yes.
Any of those things.
Look, we're not going to take any violent threats. And also, we're not going to take any threats of violence. And even if there's violence when you're saying something that's threatening it, that's going to be a hard pass. And then also, we don't want, if you're violent, if you're saying you're going to do something violent, and that's a threat too.
Weird.
Get over here. Let me lick you.
Hold on, give me 12 minutes. I got to put my forearm down.
It's not going to lick itself.
Base.
Oh, it's gonna
3
hurt.
points of contact.
I need an Epsom
Sit down,
salt bag. So let's compare that right now, where threats of violence, violent threats, we condemn this, right? That's what they say.
Strongest possible terms.
Strongest possible terms, which, by the way, is a way of not actually issuing the strongest possible terms.
What are those terms that are the strongest possible? Can you say those instead of saying the strongest possible terms?
Well, we
as
would,
an
but
out?
we already said the strongest possible.
It's less strong, by the way, than Donald Trump condemned the neo-Nazis at Charlottesville.
Yes, who should
I'm
be
not
totally-
saying who should be totally condemned, okay? I'm not talking about them who should be totally Some of you, if you're new to the show, you may not know that because they showed him saying very fine people on both sides. He said who should be condemned totally. Condemned totally is different than strongest possible terms.
Like, are we good? We're good? We're good? Fine. Okay. And then, son of a, we're not good.
They still cut it out.
Just saying if we're playing by their own game. So let's contrast this strongest possible terms umbrella term, which means nothing, with the Biden White House, former vice president's White House, on the January 6th violence.
Let me be very clear. The scenes of chaos at the Capitol do not reflect a true America, do not represent who we are. What we're seeing are a small number of extremists dedicated to lawlessness. This is not dissent. It's disorder. It's chaos. It borders on sedition.
Wrong.
And it must end now.
Were there also threats of violence?
He's like, hold on, I forgot.
Or violent
in the
threats?
strongest possible terms.
Yeah, in the strongest possible terms. I'm just saying, just compare, how he felt about trespassers. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to play the game that liberals do and say that you have a lot of conservatives right now saying the left, they were encouraging acts of violence. Now, there has been that.
Yes.
Kamala Harris with the riots. Maxine Waters. There have been actual calls to violence, just to be clear. There weren't direct calls to violence against Justice Brett Kavanaugh. However, if we're playing by the standard that the left applies to everyone who is not them, let's look at Chuck Schumer, who, by the way, I don't know if you know this. Chuck Schumer, he lives not near. He lives at the gates of hell. Perched atop.
Cheap housing.
Yeah.
It's adjacent to the.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
He's hell adjacent.
Yeah. Keeps him warm.
So here he is telling the Supreme Court what the Democrats have in mind for them. Their standard.
Republican legislatures are waging a war on women, all women. And they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Little smirky face afterwards.
By the way, and this is the problem with, going back to what Kimmel said about how Americans are, maybe they're ignorant. No, here's the problem that you see from the left. They're misinforming you. The implication there is that you vote for Supreme Court justices. You don't. You don't. And that's for a reason. Schoolhouse rock that bitch. You might learn a little bit. 3 branches of government. So he's saying, you will pay look at what they're trying to do. You will pay the price. Well, hold on a second. These people have already been appointed. So him saying that, you will pay the price, you can look at a lot of the rhetoric, and you can see the consequences with someone attempting to murder Justice Kavanaugh. No accountability. I'm not seeing Jimmy Kimmel ask about that. That happened the day Jimmy Kimmel did the interview with Joe Biden, just to be clear. You would think.
Yeah. Should have come up.
Should have come up.
Maybe.
If it was on his heart in the strongest possible terms.
Hard questions.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel had.
It's hard to touch my heart here because there's
so many.
stuff in the
I know,
way.
there's the boobs. Which, by the way,
my heart.
afterward, don't take that off right after the show. You and I are going to have
No, we're not.
Take it off.
Close the blinds in my office,
Take
please.
it off.
So let's compare what they said about the justices, the consequences, versus what they claim was a call to violence from Donald Trump for January 6th. Keep in mind, that was a big reason for impeachment.
But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun. My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country. And I say this, despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come.
So that, and pull the clip also as well, where he was in that same speech saying peacefully.
Peacefully.
He went out of his way to say
Patriotically
peacefully.
make your voices heard.
Make your voices heard. But that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Just so you know. That's the clip that they played saying this was a threat of violence. He was calling people to violence. By the way, you should fight like hell. Life is a fight. Resign yourself to the fact that your life, it will always be a fight. You don't have a choice. This is This is a problem. You know, you have this. I say this respectfully, but we've talked about white middle class women who vote overwhelmingly Democrat. And I can't tell you how many, it's alarming, the increase in female viewership that we see and how many people send me messages, particularly even after the baby formula shortage, saying, I just didn't pay attention because I didn't want to talk politics with my friends because I didn't want it to get ugly. And that's because women temperamentally are often better than us because you want to be agreeable. Unfortunately, guess what? You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice to avoid the fight. So if you're going to fight like hell. Guess what? You're already in it. You're already in it. You can't, what are we supposed to do? Roll up and die?
Yeah.
You're going to turtle up and die?
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.